Welcome back to Next Level Rides. In today's episode, I guess we're gonna do things a little bit differently than we have before. I accidentally purchased another vehicle. I say accidentally because it was accidental. Things happen. My wallet wasn't under protection and I bought it. I guess it's time for a bit of a reveal. To give you guys a bit of a hint, it has something to do with these joyful little bastards. So if you watched the previous video, I'm sure that gives you enough of an indication as to what I might have purchased. So let's walk over here and introduce you to my latest acquisition. This here is my 2009 135i M Sport. So this one here has 144,000 kilometers. Again, if you didn't watch the previous video, it decided it wanted to eat a bit in the turbo, and somebody had driven it a little bit, ground down the turbo, bunch of metal went throughout the engine, and when we looked at the oil filter housing, there was a bunch of brass material. This motor is considered a bit of a boat anchor. Couldn't be trusted. My friend wanted it said and done, gone, everything, so I accidentally bought it. I think I decided at 2 a.m., so I shouldn't be left unsupervised with my wallet, I guess. Along with the BMW, this one's actually kind of neat because it has full CIC iDrive, it has backup camera, PDC sensors, it's full load, so full M Sport. Nice thing about this one as well is it has the really big M Sport brakes. On its own, it's gonna handle really well, it's gonna brake really well. The interior, it has all the amenities. So it has the full power sport seats with doggo footprints from muddy little bean pads. The optional cup holder, which I'm not sure why I'm mentioning, but it's nice for when it's a cold day and I have my double, which is basically pond water coffee. So don't sponsor me, that's okay, I'll buy Starbucks. So the interior is nice. It's, for the most part, black on black with black roof and the aluminum trim, which I like. It actually stands off a little bit quite well. Of course, you can see wannabe M, not quite M, but this was cost-wise a drip in the bucket compared to a 1M. So it's not gonna be a wide body, but we have some big plans for it. So along with the basic things, I wanna lower it a bit. I wanna put flow-formed wheels on it. So something somewhat subtle to make it a little bit lighter, get a little bit of weight out of the vehicle. The vehicles don't weigh very much. I think it's just under 3,300 pounds. I have some I have some Sparco R200 seats. So that'll be one of the more major modifications. Along with that, we have a good N54 that's hiding under all these mattings. So this N54 ironically has within 1,000 kilometers of the one that's coming out, and this was from BC. So for those of you that may not know the significance of that, it didn't have actual cold starts on it. So BC, even if you leave the vehicle outside, it doesn't get anywhere near as brutal cold as good old Alberta. So this has very minimal cold starts. It's gonna have very little wear. I took a peek in the oil filter housing. There's no stripper glitter, which is really nice. And along with that, we're gonna put it on an engine stand. I'm gonna pull the pan off, make sure there's no surprises. I bought a bunch of things to reseal it. So I guess, I don't know if we're gonna call this a significant mod, but we're changing the engine. So along with changing the engine, I guess one of the major upgrades will be, this here has an 8 HP 21, I believe. So they were good transmissions, but for whatever reason, I think a little over a year ago, I decided to buy an 8 HP 45 out of 228i. So I had one of those laying around conveniently that I got for dirt cheap before everybody jumped on the bandwagon. So an 8 HP 45 is going to go into this vehicle Along with that, it's going to be using a CAN Performance, CAN TCU controller. So I'll be able to use that with the E82 chassis in this 135. Along with that, we have a big single jingle that we're going to be putting on here. So everything that's on this engine is kind of redundant at this point. Everything is seeing a bunch of metal. So I would consider that pretty catastrophic. We're going to ditch everything that this had. We're going to go with a big single. We're going to aim to make roughly around 700 horsepower. Now, that being said, between the single 6466 turbo, so it's going to have a billet wheel with a dual ceramic ball bearing. So it's going to respond good. It's going to spool really well, and it's going to be a really nice match for the gearing of the 8 HP. So these tend to have, I think it's a 3.1 or 3.3 or somewhere in the ballpark for a rear diff final drive. When you put the 8-speed on it, the gears are even shorter yet. So you're going to be rolling gears in this like you would a JDM imported vehicle. So like a STI, I guess. So it's going to move out pretty good. We'll see if we do any dig fun stuff. But along with that, maybe just like diff brace so I don't keep snapping axles for wheel hop. And down the road, it's going to get port injection, so I have some DW 1000cc injectors. They might be 750s. It's going to be run on a JB4 with a back end flash for the interim, and it's probably going to get a custom tune done by either David Shoup or Doc Vu. So we're going to be using the JB4, I think it's called the AIC for the additional injector controller, and probably just dual 450s in pump. So I guess what we're getting at is I'm gonna try and build what I guess I would dub the ultimate N54. So trying not to be all clickbaity and stuff, but the list is gonna be right over here. So we're gonna have a decent build. I don't want it to just accelerate and that be its main function. I want it to turn well, I want it to brake well. So eventually the big brakes will be upgraded, probably pad stainless lines, and who knows, maybe I'll get an H&R Cup kit or something with sway bars. But it's gonna perform really well from every aspect. It won't just accelerate quick, it'll also brake, it'll take a corner quick, and really the 135 and being predominantly, well, they all came rear wheel drive. I think this is gonna be a very good platform to make a very well-rounded performing vehicle. So if you have an N54 and you're kind of wondering where you want to start by modifying these, or if you have bigger goals and dreams, I guess, we're going to have a build series on this one. Fortunately, I've learned quite a bit and experienced a lot of the downfalls of the N54 engine. So learning from my downfalls, I will be, again, doing the build series on this and bringing the factual information to all of you. Of course, if you think there's something that I should do that maybe I didn't think about or mention as of yet, feel free to let me know down in the comments. All input is always appreciated, of course. And yeah, we'll definitely go step by step with the entire process and see what the end result will be. I had a number in mind, and I think that's where you could end up shooting yourself in the foot. I'd like for it to make about 700 horsepower. And realistically, vehicle included, if we can do that for, let's say, 10,000 US, because our Canadian pesos don't go far at all, we may as well just light cigars with those and kind of go from there. But for having a 700 horsepower vehicle for under 10,000 US, I think that's a pretty good goal, and I think that's something to be a little bit excited about. So it's gonna be a very good platform, and I am very excited to get started on this thing. So first things first, I guess, we'll put the motor on the stand, or the chicken rotisserie, I think as the gentleman calls it, and give it a quick health check, and pass the health check, start modding. I think the only thing that I need to do with the 8-speed is to drill one hole for one additional transmission bolt. But other than that, I think it's going to be relatively straightforward. I'm getting pretty excited to start on this thing, like I probably have mentioned a couple of times. So stay tuned for the build series. I think it's going to be pretty good and well worth watching. There's going to be a lot of details that I think will be beneficial, but of course we'll start wrenching. We'll pull the old somewhat broken lump out, so you'll see us pull another engine, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be worth it. I think that's all for this one. It's a little bit more of an update kind of video, showing you exactly what we're gonna be doing to this thing. Is it gonna be the ultimate N55 or N54? Oh, hold on. I had to wash my mouth out. N55, ooh, that's a bad taste to leave in your mouth. Jesus. We're gonna build what I consider the best N54. So that's gonna be a bit subjective, whether you agree or not. Again, let me know in the comments. So stay tuned for the build series. And as always, feel free to like and subscribe. Ring the dingle jingle. I don't know. That thing that tells you, hey, the guy left a video and it's out, and go watch it. Stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next one. It's okay. It's okay. I fix you. I will fix. Good start. Gross.